What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comics Grind. I'm one of your hosts, Nico Rodriguez.
And I'm Ken, aka Comic Ken on YouTube.
And thank you so much for tuning in this week to this comics discussion show. Ken, what's going on, man? My first question to you is, have you got on Threads yet? Because apparently it's the hottest platform in the world right now. Are you on it?
No, no,
Not
no, no.
yet.
I haven't tried it yet. I want to see if the ship is gonna crash and burn before I just jump on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're one of those what is it, the late adopters in emerging technology.
Yeah, I'm pretty late to everything, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's because there's been so many apps over the last year or so that have just come up. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon, and then now they're like nowhere to be heard of now. Like Hive and
What do we have?
is it
Yeah,
Math?
The Hive, Blue Sky. We had Vero like years ago. That one just up and left. You
I
know what
don't
I
even
mean?
know that one. I know Mastodon is another one,
Right.
but yeah, crazy stuff, man. The world is evolving at all times.
It's in flux.
As is our comics making, man. What you been up to this week? Have you been grinding on some comics?
Man, I've been grinding on some marketing, man, because like all
Mm,
all I've been doing this week is just like editing footage of YouTube videos or coming up with new ads I can like splice together and put out there. In terms of comics, the main thing that I'm doing is just inking as much of a page of Air Rider as I can, um, and coloring comics for clients. And then
gotcha.
the last thing I have to do is just like a little illustration for somebody's comic cover.
Do you kind of like schedule it out? Or are you just like when you have time and you feel like inking, you jump on the inking board? When you have time to color, you jump on that? Or are you like Monday is inking day, Tuesday through Thursday is coloring? Any kind of schedule like that?
No, no, I don't have a schedule. The main thing that I do is every night before the next day, I'll put a to-do list of everything that I need to get done tomorrow and everything that I didn't get through to today. So then I'll just start doing that the next day, and that's basically how everything gets scheduled over time. Is just like, okay, I didn't do that yesterday, so I'll have a space pocket of time to get that done the next day, and that's how I figured it out.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good. I think I'm more of like probably more of like the schedule oriented type of person, you know?
Right.
Like for me, I'm not gonna lie. At work, I've been throwing down some thumbnails on my handy dandy sticky notes. Whenever I have a second to spare, and I've been bringing those home after work and penciling from there. So
Right.
um, I think this week, man, I penciled. I had a really productive week. I think I penciled a good 6, 7, or 8 pages so far
Nice.
this week. So I've been in a real good momentum. I think it's because I'm getting like towards the end of, I'm not done, I'm not towards the end of the entire book process, but
Uh-huh.
um, you know, penciling page 108, I've got to go back and ink a handful because I kind of been just like, getting a stack of penciled pages, so I think I've got like 8 to 10 penciled pages just like waiting to get inked. So now like
Right.
next week I'm just gonna like have that stack here and just like maybe even put out like three at a time and just like ink, 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 and then like make go from bottom to top or something. I don't know.
Right.
Just trying to find this some kind of a good groove so that I can finish inking all these things
Mhm.
and get to the cleanup phase and get ultimately to the painting, because
Nice.
that's going to take a good while, but looking forward to it, man. Really, really looking forward to it. I want to
Right.
get this thing done. I want to get this thing done.
Yeah.
But
So then we're thinking about marketing this week, right?
yeah, marketing. What you what you got on marketing, man? What's that those golden tips you got for us, man?
I don't have any tips, man. I just I just told you a little bit about what I've been doing for marketing, but I'm wondering like how you are approaching it in terms of how you get the word out there, how you get other people to know about West Not South and what you're creating. Like what are the methods that you're using right now? And then I'll start talking about like what my methods are.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, my main methods right now, and of course, they need to improve, and I fully understand they need to improve. But like for me, I'm just so into the creating aspect of the project right now that I'm just like locked in and putting a lot of
Right.
brain power on that. But my main things are the Instagram posting process, snapshots, things like that. Um, so that's like my main kind of online presence is Instagram, Twitter, just kind of posting, and I'm on Threads too now, by the way.
Right.
But you know, just posting updates on that because I don't want to. I'm not completely done with it yet, and I've got a lot of work done, but I don't want to just kind of post it all. I mean, I know that that's a lot of people's perspectives on these projects is to kind of show as much of the process as possible.
Mm.
And maybe I'll get to that at some point, but right now I'm just so since I'm so deep into the creation phase, I'm kind of just taking little snapshots, you know, some panels that I like, or that you know I think look cool, you know, because I'm doing a lot of uh, animal cartooning. So like a lot, you know, all my characters in the book are animals. So like when I think I have a pretty cool design, I'll post that, or you know,
Have you thought of
a
appealing to the furry community?
I should. Shouldn't I? I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, my friend, he has a book called Werewolf, and it's about like a you know, there's a furry convention aspect to his story.
Oh yeah.
So I should probably plug him and be like, "Yo, dude, how can I connect to this community?"
I don't know, man. The furry community is shockingly good at drawing. I really don't know why or what for. You know what I mean? Like there was a girl at my school who she was a furry. She actually wore her suit for Halloween at some point, and she was just really good at drawing for some reason.
Hmm.
It was just intense. I don't know why.
I mean, you probably have to have like a amazing imagination, you know, because you're like you're jumping into these animal costumes and you're like assuming the identity of an animal for like 2 hours of the day, you know, whenever you're going to go go about your business. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like that's got an aspect to it.
Yeah, and I think it's just the fact that they're so good at translating their imagination down on the page that it's just like, dang, they're making it look easy, you know what
Yeah. I'm gonna note that though. I'm gonna like
I mean?
find some fur dude, maybe I should table at a furry convention. I'm
Who knows, man?
I should probably Google like furry shows in 2023.
Right. I'm actually looking at this this Y2K con or Y2 con, which is like a convention for stuff from like the early 2000s. It has like a poster with Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents and Inuyasha and all sorts of cartoons from that era. And I'm thinking like maybe I should go over there and just do some like market research and walk around, see what kind of people are there and like enjoying the convention just to see like okay, what is my potential audience into and where are they going? Like what what do they do? What are their jobs? What's their like age range and their tax bracket basically.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to
That's
figure out.
interesting. Where is that
Yeah.
show? Is it in
Uh
Texas or?
yeah, actually it's gonna be in Allen, Texas. Um I don't know where that's close to. I think it's like past Dallas. And it's gonna be like
Okay.
a 3.5 hour drive, but I'm wondering like, okay, is it worth it to go out there for a day or so just to do some like kind of research and see what like my potential audience would be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I know it might be tougher to swing, but man, if you could get a table there and just kind of see, I mean, you could, promote your book as like, with all the aesthetic of the Y2K stuff, and like,
Mhm.
make sure people understand that, that's like what it's inspired by.
Well, I definitely
Be
can't
interesting.
afford a table there. I can't really afford a
Yeah.
haircut even. But
Oh,
like I can at least afford a ticket. So if I were to get a ticket and just eat the gas cost and the cost of food, then I'll go around for a day and check out all the voice actors that they're gonna have there. They got Butch Hartman coming out there, so I'll see if I can like pick his brain or pick some people's brain and just bring my portfolio, get some reviews, that kind of thing.
yeah, for sure. That'd be dope. But yeah, man, what about like, with your aesthetic, with Air Rider, with everything like that, what's your kind of main tactics to reach out to the population?
Well, I have a good bit of Air Rider material created. I have like a chapter one, I have a chapter two, I have a zero chapter, a pilot chapter, which is like 8 pages. And then I also have a, what do you call it? A 6 pager issue, crossover issue that I did with a friend. I haven't posted that out yet. I haven't posted it yet, but I have a good bit of material that I can use and a lot of illustrations that I can use to like start putting out more content about it, remixing and remastering it. I don't know, and making like even like little videos out of it. Um, but the main thing I'm doing right now is just trying to post more on Twitter, trying to post more about like Y2K and early 2000s stuff, just because based on the material of Air Rider that I have currently out there, it looks most like stuff from that era. Like I was subconsciously like trying to and consciously trying to put as much of that of those elements in my story as possible. Everything in the posing of the characters, the color palette of the art, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't necessarily trying to reach that market. I was just trying to make stuff in the vibe of things that I really loved when I was a kid. So I know if I can reach that target demographic, and if I can even find a way to reach like younger kids or like kids that like what would you call it? My Hero Academia or Fortnite even. Then if I can find a way to like get in front of their eyes, then I think I can really grow a dedicated fan base for Air Rider going forward. Right
Yeah.
now, my main focus is on the Y2K market just because they are the only ones who actually remember that era, and they would appreciate my stuff more. But if I can eventually find my way to get younger kids and teenagers into Air Rider, then uh, that would really help kind of boost awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think like obviously your target audience and my target audience are probably pretty different, just
Oh yeah,
from sheer style and story and everything. Um and like I even think like our maybe even our marketing tactics are pretty different, because like I'm kind of just like right now I'm just like so like into just like finishing it all and then worrying about the
right,
rest later, where I probably shouldn't be, because I feel like a lot of creators, you know are like me, and they'd rather spend the time, you just make it and then see what happens, where we're probably doing it incorrectly because we're not really building as much of an audience as we should. So yeah, I don't know. That's a thing that I guess I always think about, like, should I be, spending half the time on the creating and then half the time on the marketing, or should I just finish creating everything and then like market like crazy? um you know my I hope to eventually do a Kickstarter for the book and everything.
right,
So I'm thinking like in that regard, like I'm thinking of like doing like skit videos, things that like, whenever you go to the Kickstarter page, it's almost like a trailer like a live action type of trailer with like,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Just kind of, thinking about things like that. But like I said, I've only been thinking about these things, not actually
Right.
putting pen to paper on them.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, like, when it the time from the thought and conception of an idea to when you actually can execute on it is like sometimes it's like months out or months away, just because you have so many things that you need to get done to get to that point. And I think a lot of what you've done in the way of marketing beforehand has just been the shows that you've been going to, getting to
Yeah.
talk to people like face to face. Because
Yeah.
what
Shows are a huge part.
Yeah, for real. And like what I'm like thinking about these days is just the online aspect or online marketing, because I don't have any uh funds or resources to go out to shows or anything like that right now.
Hmm.
So I'm really nailed in on like the internet marketing aspect of it, and trying to get Air Rider in front of the right eyes, that in front of the eyes that of people that will appreciate it. Because
Right.
right now on Twitter, my target audience, or the audience that I'm usually reaching on Twitter, is people who are also comic artists. They're the ones who are giving me the most likes and views and comments. And that's because a lot of the comments I'm targeting towards other creators or indie comics creators. They would be more appreciative of what I'm saying. But now I'm starting to like pivot to like, okay, would people what would my people, or what would my target audience appreciate me saying?
Hmm.
And I watched this video by what's his name, Josh Spector, and he was talking to this author about how to change her social media approach, because she was mainly talking to other writers on her social media, and they were all like agreeing with her posts, but she wasn't getting that many readers out of it. So he had her think about create posts that are intended for readers rather than writers, or create posts intended for your target reader that they would appreciate, that they would like. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking like that got my mind like really thinking about like, oh, I can make all these associations with like 2000s cartoons, or um like video games and that kind of thing, like uh Tony Hawk Underground, like video games that I just like, oh, okay, yeah, those are the games that people played. And Air Rider, he rides a skateboard. I can like associate the two together, and
Hmm.
then kind of grab more people that way by associating Air Rider with things that people already like. And I think that's kind of that fan art principle at work, but I don't really do fan art. It's like it's a different thing.
Yeah. I mean, but I will say, like, the fan art, it helps. It
You've
does,
done it, right?
because like, yeah, because I mean, like on Instagram. But here's the thing, like, I do fan art of the things that I like. You know,
Mm,
um, like for instance, like I recently started watching Evangelion. You and
right,
I, Ken, we talked about it not too long ago.
right.
Super cool show. Love the design of Ava. So I drew it, did some watercolors on it, and posted it, and it got really good traction. Got on Instagram, got at least 2 to 3 new followers
Nice.
from a post. So it's like every time I make, it almost seems like, I don't know the exact details, but it's like every time I do a sketch of, like, an existing property and post it, I get anywhere from 3 to 5 new followers.
Right,
It's just that's just the way it happens most of the time. And if I don't get a ton of followers, or if I don't get those followers, I get a really good engagement number, which when you look at the insights on Instagram, you can check them out, and it'll be like 5 to 800 impressions, or whatever it's called.
right.
So like it sucks that it's like that, but it helps. I try to do it
Man.
sparingly.
Hmm.
I try to do it sparingly, and I do it on things that I actually like.
Right.
um and the other part of that is when you do start going to shows, and you start having people that follow you come up to your booth and they like your art style and they've seen you draw, say, you know, the Hulk in your style, they may come to you up to your booth and be like, "Oh, your Hulk was awesome. Can you do a Spider-Man for me? I'm a huge Spider-Man fan." And
Right.
then, you get to sell a commission. So
Right.
there's that ulterior aspect of it. That's not just selling your soul to the devil
Right.
to get some impressions, but um, it
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks that it's like that, but it's a game that I play sparingly. It's not like everything I do is that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I notice several different kinds of artists on like Instagram and Twitter and social media. It's just like the guys with a lot of followers that do only fan art. It's like maybe they're making their money from doing that fan art or from doing those types of things, or they're building their following from doing that type of thing. But
Hmm.
then are people following them? Are people following their actual project that they're working on? And I don't know. It's like,
It's it's like there's many types of buyers in this industry.
mhm,
You know, that's why when you go to a comic shop, you know, I don't like variant covers, and
mhm,
most creators aren't huge fans of variant covers. But, when you go talk to comic shops and stuff, they're like, "Look, some of the segment of buyers in this industry is just trying to get those fancy variant covers, not even reading the book." So
right,
it's like there's just so many aspects to the buying market in this thing, because it's like, they might not be following your exact book, your
mhm,
exact comic book project, but they could be following you for your style, for the way you draw.
right,
That might not exactly be your comic. That might be the way you draw Batman, or the way you draw so and so. So it's like maybe they might not be in it for your book, but they're in it for your personality within the art style. Because I follow a handful of people like that. I mean, of course, like, I'm the type that's into both. I like the comics and I like the style,
right,
but some they got me, they hooked me through just seeing their style. Like, that was their advertisement to it. I didn't read their book first and then like them. I saw, how they draw, and I'm like, oh, that's unique. That's weird looking. That's it's out of perspective, but it's awesomely out of perspective.
right.
Stuff like that. So I don't
I,
know. There's so many different aspects to it.
yeah, I feel like I might have to incorporate it in some way to try to get more viewers on my actual stuff and get more impressions that way. It's just like I feel like any drawing that takes away time from me doing air rider is like it's like a waste of time in a way. But
That's true.
if it's to get more eyes on air rider, then it might be a worthy investment of time. Like this new season of this reboot of the show I like called Rurouni Kenshin. It's
I used to watch that back in the day.
yeah, it's a great show, and it's premiering right now. They're on episode 2, and I feel like I could
So
do
wait, they're
fan
doing like
art.
a they're doing like an anime reboot of it.
Yeah,
Why?
no one knows. It looks okay, it just looks fine. You know what I mean? Like I'll
So it's
still
it
watch the old one all day, every day, but the new one is just it's different. It has a different vibe to it.
so it's not just like a continuation. It's like a legit reboot.
Yeah, from the very
Hmm,
beginning. Yeah.
interesting.
So I might do a fan art of Kenshin because I like Kenshin, and I've done
Hmm.
fan arts in the past, and they've gotten a lot of views and attention. But those were just because I was doing. Usually, those are school assignments, or
Hmm.
like because I liked that property and I wanted to make something out of it.
Right.
but I might have to
I mean,
incorporate fan art in some way, or drawing in different art styles or cartoon styles
mhm,
that will get people more invested in Air Rider and what it's about.
yeah. I mean, and the thing that I do with it is like, look, I love to draw, right?
Mhm.
And the only time I do these kind of, licensed property characters or properties, that showed up in movies or whatever, um, is like my free time, my break time from my books. Because when I'm making when I'm making the pages for the graphic novel, it's a different type of work because I've got to tell a story. I'm thoughtfully thinking about composition,
Yeah.
for 5 to 6 to 8 panels on a page. Thinking about like how much ink do I lay down because I don't want to lay down too much because I've got to watercolor it later and I want to do the colors to do some work.
Right.
I'm thinking so much more interactively when I'm doing the actual interior sequential pages.
Mhm.
So like the only time when I do the fan art stuff, it's like my break from that, and I just open the sketchbook, you know, start doodling something in there, or get a piece of watercolor paper and just start sketching on there. So I don't let it eat into my actual book making time. It's like my break. When I'm on the couch, I'll pull out my sketchbook, sketch while I'm watching something or something. So, I mean, I think there's a way you can like balance it in without letting it eat too much into your actual book making time.
Right. I feel like in my case, it just wouldn't be a genuine expression coming out of me. It'd almost be workmanlike, where I'm just okay, got to get views, so let me just
Yeah.
draw this character or something. And I want
Yeah.
it to be like a genuine thing that I enjoy, like as a break from what I'm doing. But it's like I don't have time to even make my own stuff because I'm working on coloring somebody's comic, or doing a uh, doing a cover for somebody else, or doing all this like marketing and editing and um, preparing for a Kickstarter and all that. So it's
Yeah.
like, where do I find the time to get it, and is it worth the investment? It might be,
Mhm.
actually. So I'm gonna try it out, maybe do a Kenshin piece and
Mhm.
see if that works, and then just kind of keep it rolling from there. Just try anything I can to get the attention of my target
Yeah.
audience, and basically grow my influence in terms of that space, the Y2K space. um I like liminal space art, and it's like a whole vibe and aesthetic that I like, and I
Right.
want to tell stories within that that style, and
Mhm.
then I want to just like find my place in the market, grow my influence in that space, and then start, because this is what I noticed for like the biggest players in any certain space, is that they start on a certain track, and they find a hole in the market where nobody else is is addressing it, and then they keep making content and stuff for that area that nobody else is making, and they start to gather attention because they're the only ones that people can go to for that specific idea or that specific type of thing. And so the more they put out and the longer they put it out, the more momentum they have, and the more resources they gather, because anyone else who tries to move in on that space without their own unique angle, or without their um without having the same experience as that other guy, or the same momentum, they're just going to get like bounced off. They're just going to get like destroyed, or just absorbed into the larger system. So like there's this guy I'm thinking about specifically right now. His name is Color with Kurt Russell. And he or Kurt M. Russell, to differentiate. And he colors comics. And he wasn't the first person to put his videos of coloring comics on YouTube, but he was the main one to actually expand in that space and start putting out content for coloring comics specifically. And he just kept doing it. He's doing it even now today. And he's the one that's been doing it the most and the longest. And so anyone else who tries to put their own coloring like tutorial out is gonna be 100 meters down from all the coloring with Kurt videos that are up at the top. He's already dominated that space. He's already cemented his place in people's mind as, oh, this is the guy who does colors comics on YouTube, like shows the process, gives relevant information and useful information. He's had courses that he's sold on Clip Studio and on his own website, and he I've bought courses from him. He's the only one that I think about when or he's the main person I think about when it comes to coloring comics, and this is a course that I want to buy. So
Mhm.
he's top of mind when it comes to that. Whereas everyone else who's done a course or done a coloring thing in comics, in the comic space, in that niche, they're not even a competition to him. He's already dominated that space. So I'm trying to find my specific pocket of the comic space to dominate, because I'm not going to compete with web comics, or I'm not going to compete with webtoons creators. They're all making like anime stuff, like Korean stuff. I'm not competing with that. I'm going to get destroyed. I'm not competing with let's say like manga artists where they're doing black and white stuff that looks really good, or they're you know, in Japan or whatever. I'm not going to compete with that because I'm going to get destroyed. But I can find my own niche that nobody else is talking about or creating stuff for, because I can see it clearly. There's no videos under that hashtag on YouTube, or there's no content being made of the type of stuff that I'm trying to create. So it's like, okay, let me move in that space and expand and grow, and I'll have that momentum, so that anyone else who tries to come and try to muscle me out is like, they're going to be destroyed just by the factor of my momentum in that space. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, it's certainly a journey to get to that point, which
For
is
sure. Yeah.
which is the the grinding, the hours of putting it in. I mean, I think I give too little thought to like all that marketing aspect and like how to like you know position yourself in the space and everything. Um, but I mean, I think that's awesome, man. That you're trying to you know you've got these kind of other influences that you're kind of seeing and kind of understanding how breaking down how they're becoming successful in it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I think we both, we want to make this stuff full time. You know,
Right.
we want to do comics, whatever way that is, webtoons, web comics, print media, whatever. Um, and it's just it's doing the research and trying to understand how other people have done it before. I think it's a super valuable thing.
Right.
Um,
That really helps me, like looking at other people's success, and trying to mirror that in some way. Um, Another thing I figured out was that I'm not a image comics type artist. Like, I don't draw super detailed, fully formed muscles and veins and
you
stuff. Like,
mean you mean like 90s image style, like
yeah,
Liefeld type and everything?
yeah, I'm not that type of artist, I realized. And I was spending so much time trying to be like that, that eventually I was just like, okay, let me just give that up and focus on what my actual strengths are. Because even Mobius has a certain style that he is strongest at. He wasn't
Yeah.
drawing Marvel Comics in the 90s image style. He was drawing it in Mobius style. That's why people hired him,
Yeah.
because he had his
No,
own
that's
take on things. And I just realized that I don't have to compete anymore with those style of guys. I don't have to compete with
yeah.
David Finch or Jason Fabok or people who draw in that style. I can find my I can find my space in the market, and just address that, because that's the whole reason why I'm creating. It's like, I'm making stuff to address the fact that I'm not seeing more of what I actually like in the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, dude. Like, you have to. at the end of the day, you have to have fun drawing, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have fun like trying to chase somebody and trying to like be like somebody that you look up to, you know, you because it's just like, you know, if you sit there and look at a David Finch drawing and you're trying to replicate it and you're trying to, you know, be exactly like, you know, ink exactly like how he is, you're going to drive yourself mad because,
Yeah.
you know, it's just not coming natural to you. I mean, that's why, like with me, like I think everyone, as when they draw, they start out, they're like, I want to be that guy. I want to look like, I want my art to be like that. But
Yeah.
at some point you grow out of it, you start developing and developing and developing, and you understand what you like and what you want to see and what you enjoy drawing. You know, like for me, like I realize like I love cartoony stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love stuff that looks a little exaggerated, you know. I love big giant open mouths, you know. As opposed to somebody like, you know, like Mobius, you know, he's much more you know, much more subtle, much more grounded in his like, you know, character work and stuff.
Right.
Um, but like you know, I love that cartoony stuff. You know, I love the Animaniacs. So like that's like the stuff that I like, and that's what makes it easy for me sometime to set time aside to draw some of these, you know, licensed characters because I'm like, how can I exaggerate the hell out of this character? You know, how can I like put some kind of weird spin on it? And like
Right.
that's part of the fun, you know. And like I said, you know, when you're having fun drawing, like drawing, it's not a burden, you know. So
Right. And I think with content and marketing is if you make it as easy as possible, as frictionless as possible to make content or stuff related to your work so you can put it online, that makes it that much more, I guess, fun or easy to make stuff that'll get people interested in your work, like
mhm.
setting up your camera in the same exact spot every time, or like even this even our podcast, I have my stuff set up in the right place at the right spot, and then I just, it's easy to just get in there and start making a video, or it's
Yeah,
easy to just film myself drawing or doing something like that. So I'm trying to figure out ways, little hacks that I can do to make it easier to film content or make content and put it out there so that it's easier to market my stuff.
yeah, man, for sure. I mean, figure it out and let me know how you did it.
Right, right, right.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Let us all know how you did it because all of us here, most of you guys out there watching are, you know, creators as well. Whether you're just starting out or a little more seasoned, we can all get some valuable information out of more comics discussion and everything. But Ken, you have any kind of last words on today's episode for this topic?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to mention a couple of announcements. Like we're we're going to be at Eastern Rim. We're both going to Eastern
Eastern
Rim
Rim
Con.
Comic Con, baby. Eastern Rim
Yep.
Comic Con, Baytown, Texas. When is it? August 19th and 20th?
Yep, down in Houston, and we'll probably have the first episode of the Comics Grind live, and we'll
Oh
just
yeah.
I don't know, just be talking and just like dapping it up, like in real life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
dude. Yeah, it'll be it's gonna be awesome. If you guys are in the Baytown, Houston area, you know, come and check us out because Jerry Schaefer, the organizer of the show, is an amazing dude. I call him the Houston ambassador of comic books because he's just so within the culture and so within the Houston community in terms of, you know, comics and everything. Super awesome guy, and he puts on an awesome show
Yep.
because it's all comic book focused. You know, there's some voice actors and stuff like that, but there's the majority of the guests there are, you know, more indie guys like Ken and I. There's some bigger names as well that Jerry will eventually start to announce and everything. So definitely find them on Instagram and on Facebook. I think they're on.
We'll
So
link them
yeah,
below.
yeah, we'll link them below. August 19th and 20th. It's coming up real soon.
Yep. And also we're also like fielding questions. Like if you guys have any questions you want to ask us, topics that we can discuss on the next show, feel free to leave that down in the comments. And whatever comment is like that we're answering, I guess, on the next show, we'll just feature that in the next episode, and your comment will be on the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. You guys out there, like any kind of question, and we'd love to talk about creating comics, marketing stuff. Even like if it's a good comment on like your favorite book, or like some kind of interesting question like that, we'd love to interact with you guys and start answering your questions on here. So the best comment will win, right? And we'll feature
Or you could
you
tell us we
on
suck,
the
you
thing.
know.
Or you could tell us we suck, and we can open our next episode with that.
Yep.
Just completely downing ourselves for the entire 30 minutes.
Yep.
But all right, Ken, let the people out there know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter at thecomicsgrind. I'm on there pretty much every day, and you can find me on Instagram at comicsgrind. And my webcomic, Air Rider High School Hero, is on Global Comics right now, and the printed edition is coming out in March of next year.
Awesome. It's going to be awesome. I want to see that. I want to see those prints, man. I want to start seeing you shoveling out all those prints.
Oh yeah.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Nico_Writes. I'm also on Threads now if you're into that as well. It's kind of an extension of Instagram, more of like a Twitter type of space. But I'm also on Twitter at Nico Writes as well. You can also follow me on my Substack at nicorodriguez.substack.com. And yeah, these upcoming shows come and check Ken and I out at Eastern Rim coming up here in August. So but other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and we will see you next time.
Peace.